Hello everybody and welcome back to Lace's Dungeon. Today's story is, we can get this magic item for free. Cool! How about we murder them to get it instead? Unfortunately, it's finally time for my spree of wonderful campaigns to be interrupted by a horror story. I hope someone else can enjoy my current pain. Sorry ahead of time for being rather long-winded. My roommate is my longtime DM, and recently a spot opened up in his in-person group for Rime of the Frost Maiden, and DM invited me to fill it. I'm pretty sure I now know why the previous person left. Current cast: me, Vitor, Fire Genasi Artificer, Vince, Human Rogue, Casey, Rabbit Monk, Gray, Half-Elf Warlock, and our problem player, Vati, Ratfolk Bard. I joined about 6 sessions ago, but the campaign had been going on for probably about 15 sessions or so before I got there. For the 6 sessions I've been there, Vati has only been there for 2 of them. His signature move is to message us an hour to 30 minutes before game time to let us know he won't be here today. From having spoken to the player who dropped out, Vati was there for less than half of the total sessions. We play at 7:30 p.m. every week. Last night, Vati messages at 7:45 that he's leaving his house to head our way. No explanation, no apology, just shows up when he shows up. A lot of the players are new to D&D, but are generally doing a wonderful job of learning and getting into their characters' stories. I enjoy helping the DM out in answering questions about mechanics, so I'm rarely frustrated about people not understanding how the game works. However, at a certain point, you sort of expect people to get the very basics, how to make an attack roll, for instance, which we had to explain to Vati last night. So, on to the campaign proper. The session that I joined on, the party was trying to recover some lost items from a Yeti cave. They spent a while discussing how they wanted to approach it, and eventually decided they wanted to try to stealth in to grab the items and leave without a fight. Vati was hostile from the beginning, immediately talking about various plans to really brutally murder the Yeti, the details of which are unfortunately lost to me, as this was several months ago. While the party is trying to stealth in, Vati is continuing to try to persuade the party to go with his plan of attack. Given the situation, I was willing to give him the benefit of the doubt. This was my first session, and it is a Yeti, so were there really that many options? Unfortunately for the party, the best laid plans often go awry, and a crappy stealth check uncovered them once they were in the furthest depths of the cave. A missing halfling was found being kept prisoner there, and they discovered the Yeti had a baby Yeti, a Yetling, she was caring for. Having been discovered, the party realized they were going to have to fight their way out, and reconvened to discuss how to approach it. From the beginning, Vati had a very curious insistent on having the baby Yeti be murdered by the mother Yeti. From using the baby as a meat shield, to convincing the mother that the baby was an enemy. The party was leaning towards a more straightforward, let's just duke it out approach, but Vati apparently has a track record of doing whatever he wants. So as soon as his turn came around, he cast Phantasmal Force on the Mama Yeti, specifying that the mom thinks that the baby is now the missing halfling, and that the halfling is the baby. Given the constraints of Phantasmal Force, I'm not certain it should have technically worked that way, but the DM rolled with it. He's very good about just going with the rule of cool. Roping the halfling into the plan, they were able to get the Mama Yeti to believe that halfling had just attacked the Yetling, and so beat the crap out of the baby before finally coming to and realizing what had happened. Vati's idea had been that, upon seeing what she'd done to the kid, she'd be overwhelmed with despair and then be able to run off. I can't stress enough the strange sort of glee he had in explaining this plan. There was genuine excitement specifically in having the mother kill her own kid. He absolutely would not stop talking about it. Of course, the Yeti didn't just sit there and take it and lashed out against the party. Hard fight for them, but they won out in the end. On the way out, they run into Papa Yeti returning from a hunt. Vati repeatedly taunts Papa Yeti about what he's gonna find further in the cave and elaborates on what was done. Again, they win the fight, but by the end, the entire party was like, "Really, Vati? This is messed up," but just kind of went with it. That's my very first introduction to Vati and his player. I tried to give him the benefit of the doubt that it was just a situational bit of a F-upness. We all come up with weird and potentially effed up plans now and then. Following this were 3 or more sessions where Vati never showed up and had to be NPC'd in the background. The party warms up to my artificer, and there's a decent amount of chemistry overall. The whole party are effing weirdos, so it all works out. Lots of fun moments, and I'm very much enjoying seeing the big character plots going on with Gray as their backstory starts to play out. Cut to last night, our most recent session. Due to outside circumstances, Casey and Gray can't come to the session, so it's just Vince, Vati, and myself. Vati gets there extremely late, but eventually we start the game up, resuming a trek through the wilderness to Fort Sunblight. After failing a survival check, we end up lost and run into crevice overtaken by gnolls. We survive the encounter by the skin of our teeth, everyone down but myself, and me in a single-digit health. It takes stock of our surroundings. We can hear more gnolls in the distance and notice they've set up some sort of base in the crevice. We've got no business or plot hooks here and just got our asses handed to us, so we decided to head out and resume the journey to Sunblight. On the way, we run into a party of friendly kobolds. They tell us they're looking for a white dragon to worship, but they can't find her anywhere. We talk to them a bit about what they're doing and where they've been. They happily tell us about the fort we're looking for, describing what they know of it. Vince tries to convince them to join his zoo, and Vati asks if they have anything to trade. They've got a few potions and a magical tattoo needle, and all they want in return is rations. Our DM doesn't typically enforce ration counting, especially as we've got a good berry bush, so we can effectively get the potions and tattoo needle for free. Upon realizing this won't cost us anything, Vati goes absolutely insane and tells them he's seen their dragon at a crevice nearby, and he can tell them how to get to it if they give us the items for free. He's smirking and laughing as he says this. He fully intended to direct those very friendly kobolds to certain death at the gnoll hideout for what reasons? I guess when this magic needle is literally going to cost us absolutely nothing to obtain. My artificer immediately interrupts and says Vati is lying and not to listen to him, and offers them rations in trade. Vati gets testy and repeatedly tries to offer this fake information to them, even after the trade is done and the kobolds are leaving. They clearly no longer trust our party and are trying to get away from us as quick as possible. We ended the session shortly afterwards, and I was in a state of shock as to how strange and needlessly cruel Vati's plan was. By the way, Vati is an ambassador, and this is his general approach to everything. Apparently he's an ambassador to the murder hobo affiliation. If his past track record is anything to go by, the next few months of this campaign are going to be rife with content for the sub. Pray for me. Vati is purely chaotic evil, caring about absolutely nothing except the pain of others. It's very clear in the small amounts of encounters that there was of him. At this point, if Vati is barely ever there, then it would be something to bring up to the DM or the other players if the DM struggles with confrontation. Vati doesn't bring anything to the party. Literally, all he does is late games, half an attendance, and multiple murders under his belt, or at least tried murders in the game. Hopefully, there is a possibility of getting him to be better, like maybe his character better, or to just get him out of there if all things fail, because at this point it feels like it's not very fun. Not just the way he plays his character, but I think the late sessions, the missed sessions, that would annoy the crap out of me. Because people they make time for this. They can't just always just run by your schedule. And if it's a planned day to do it, the fact that he continuously does it like 15 minutes before is a little bit annoying. But anyways, that's all for today, and I hope to see you next time at Lisa's Dungeon. Goodbye.